Ever wish you could just hit rewind on life? You know? Like, try out all those paths not taken.
It's a question a lot of us ponder, and in Matt Haig's The Midnight Library, we get to explore just that. What if we could actually live through our regrets?
Well, that's a good one. And for our listeners who are always looking to nourish their minds, even on the go.
This is Mindful Moments, bringing you AI-powered deep dives into books and ideas that make you think.
Perfect for those with busy lives, but curious minds. So today we're diving deep into the Midnight Library.
Uncovering the key themes in those thought-provoking moments.
The story revolves around Nora Seed. She's at a pretty low point in her life and attempts suicide.
But instead of death, she finds herself in this mysterious library.
Not your typical library, though, right? This is the Midnight Library.
Exactly. Each book within its walls represents a different life Nora could have lived.
Whoa. Each one branching off from a specific regret she has.
Imagine a chance to undo a past choice with every book you open.
Now that's heavy stuff. As we explore the library with Nora, I want you all to think about this. What regrets might you choose to explore?
And what would those alternate lives reveal about your own values?
That's a good question to keep in mind. The book really digs into this idea of regret as a catalyst.
For change, Nora's journey is fueled by regrets that I think a lot of us can relate to.
Like what kind?
Well, she regrets not becoming an Olympic swimmer, breaking up with her fiancé Dan,
Heartbreak.
and not pursuing a career in music. These are those what-ifs that haunt many of us.
Oh, yeah, I get that. Sending her on this whirlwind tour through different realities. And the book really brings these lives to life. I mean, each one offers this glimpse into what makes us happy.
Right. One life takes her to Svalbard in the Arctic. She's a glaciologist there.
Wow.
Experiencing this stark beauty, but also facing the raw power of nature. There's even a terrifying encounter with a polar bear.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's intense. It really makes you consider what you'd be willing to risk for your passions.
Definitely. In this life, she also meets another slider.
Slide.
Yeah. Someone who, like her, can jump between these alternate lives. His name's Hugo.
Okay, Hugo.
And he actually gives a scientific explanation for this whole thing they're experiencing.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm curious to hear more about that.
Well, it's fascinating how Haig brings in this idea of the multiverse, you know?
Right.
Grounding this whole fantastical premise with ideas from quantum physics.
Okay, so it's not just emotional. It's making you think about what's real.
Exactly. Hugo actually uses the Schrodinger's cat thought experiment to explain how all these realities could exist at the same time.
Mind-blowing.
Right.
Right, so we've got this blend of science and emotion going on.
Yeah.
But okay, back to Nora's journey. Another life lets her experience the fame she always wanted as a musician.
But it quickly shows the downsides of that path. The loneliness, the pressure, the loss.
It's like a reality check, huh? Fame isn't always what it's cracked up to be.
And then there's the life she could have had with Dan as a wife and pub owner.
That was their plan, right? The life they envisioned together.
Exactly. But even that seemingly perfect life has hidden cracks and betrayals.
Wow. So even changing the past doesn't guarantee a perfect outcome.
It's like a reminder that every path has its own challenges and joys.
No easy answers. So each choice comes with its own set of baggage.
Yeah. It's like the book is saying you can't just run away from your problems by changing your past.
That's deep. Makes you think about those choices we make and how they shape us.
Another life has Nora becoming a mother and a philosopher.
Okay, a different direction entirely.
Yeah. She finds deep fulfillment in this quiet life, focused on family and intellectual pursuits.
It challenges our idea of success, right? Like maybe happiness isn't about these grand ambitions.
Maybe it's about the simple joys of everyday life.
I love that. And through all these experiences, through these highs and lows guiding Nora, is this enigmatic librarian.
Mrs. Elm, the librarian of the Midnight Library.
She's like this mentor figure offering cryptic advice and pushing Nora to face her own self-deception.
One quote from Mrs. Elm that really stuck with me was, "You see, doing one thing differently is very often the same as doing everything differently."
Whoa, that's deep. It's about the ripple effect of our choices, right? Even small decisions can change everything.
It emphasizes how interconnected our lives are.
It's like the butterfly effect.
Exactly. One flap of a wing can cause a hurricane on the other side of the world.
So before we go any further, I'm curious, what regrets would lead you down a different path?
What would your Midnight Library look like? Think about that as we continue our deep dive into the Midnight Library. It's really interesting how the book explores not only just regret itself, but like that feeling of being overwhelmed by all the what ifs.
Oh, yeah.
Haig calls it regret overload, and it's something I think we can all relate to at some point.
Absolutely. It's that feeling of getting stuck in the shoulda, woulda, coulda spiral, right?
Exactly. And the book shows how paralyzing that can be, but it also suggests that regret, if we look at it thoughtfully, can actually be a source of insight.
So like a learning experience.
In a way, it can help us understand our values and what truly matters to us.
Okay, I can see that.
And then those insights can help us make better choices moving forward.
Makes sense. One of the lives Nora explores that really resonated with me was her experience as a musician. She achieves the fame she always dreamed of.
Right.
But instead of finding happiness, she finds this deep sense of emptiness and loss.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that external validation doesn't necessarily equal fulfillment.
Right. It's about finding purpose and meaning beyond what society tells us is success.
Exactly.
It makes you think about your own definition of success, what truly brings you a sense of accomplishment and joy.
And how much of that is influenced by external pressures versus your own internal compass?
That's a great point to ponder. And the book doesn't shy away from the darker side of life either.
No, it doesn't. Nora faces some really tough challenges, like loss, betrayal.
Even brushes with death.
Yeah, that scene with the polar bear in Svalbard was intense.
It was. It really drove home this feeling of life's fragility and how unexpected things can be.
I think that scene is so powerful because it causes this major shift in Nora's perspective. Facing death makes her realize how much she wants to live, to experience everything life has to offer.
So it's like a wake-up call.
Exactly. It becomes this catalyst for her to search for meaning and connection in a more authentic way.
It's a good reminder that sometimes we need those shakeups to appreciate what we have.
And speaking of wake-up calls, another life Nora explores is that of a wife and pub owner.
The seemingly perfect life with Dan.
Yeah, the life they had planned together. But when she delves deeper, she finds all these hidden cracks in their relationship.
Betrayals and disappointments she never expected.
It shatters that illusion of the perfect life.
Right. It shows that no matter how much we plan, things can still go wrong.
And that no relationship is immune to challenger.
So communication is key.
Definitely open communication, knowing yourself and your partner.
And being ready to navigate the ups and downs.
It's a reminder that there's no such thing as happily ever after without effort.
Without the commitment to grow and understand each other. But through all these different experiences, through the good and the bad, Nora starts to question what happiness really is.
Right. Is it about achieving certain goals? Is it about material possessions?
Or is it something deeper, something within us?
That's the question the book poses. And I think it's an important one.
Definitely. And this is where her life as a mother and a philosopher really stands out.
Yeah. She finds this unexpected joy in a simple, quiet existence, surrounded by family and focused on intellectual pursuits.
It's like it's saying that meaning and fulfillment can be found in the everyday moments.
In the connections we have with loved ones, and in pursuing knowledge and personal growth.
It's beautiful. It makes you think about your own priorities.
What brings you a sense of peace and contentment? Is it chasing after external validation?
Or is it about nurturing your inner world, your relationships, your curiosity?
Those are the questions that really matter. And that's where Mrs. Elm's guidance comes in.
Okay.
She encourages Nora to look inward, to confront those self-limiting beliefs.
To recognize the power she has to shape her own reality.
Exactly. She tells Nora to stop dwelling on the past and to start making choices that align with her values and aspirations.
To live in the present.
Another quote from Mrs. Elm that really stuck with me was, "Never underestimate the big importance of small things."
It's about being present, right? Appreciating those little things.
Making choices that contribute to our well-being and the well-being of others.
So as Nora goes through these alternate lives, she's gathering knowledge and experience.
It's like she's putting together a puzzle, trying to understand the bigger picture of her own life.
And the choices that led her to this point. But the big question is, will she find what she's looking for in one of these other realities?
Or will she choose to go back to her original life, armed with the wisdom and self-awareness she's gained?
That's the beauty of the Midnight Library. It doesn't give us easy answers.
It makes us consider our own regrets, our own desires.
The infinite possibilities within us.
It's a story that stays with you long after you finish it.
Making you think about your own life choices and the paths you've taken.
And it asks us this question. If we had the chance to explore different lives based on our regrets, would we stay in one of them?
Or would we go back to our original lives, changed by the experience?
It's a thought-provoking question that encourages us to embrace our past, to learn from our mistakes.
And to see the potential for growth and fulfillment in our present lives.
Ultimately, the Midnight Library is a testament to hope and the human spirit.
It's about finding meaning and purpose even when faced with adversity and regret.
And creating a life worth living.
Okay, so we've been through this whirlwind of alternate lives with Nora Wright, each one shaped by her regrets. But where does she actually end up? Does she just settle into one of these other realities?
That's what's so interesting. She doesn't just pick a life and stay there.
Wow.
She makes a different choice. She goes back to her original life.
Really? After all that, you'd think she'd find the perfect life and just stay put.
But her time in the Midnight Library wasn't about finding a perfect life. It was about facing those regrets, understanding them, realizing that happiness isn't about escaping to another reality.
So it's more about changing her outlook within the life she already has.
Yeah, exactly. She realizes she was so focused on what she didn't have that she couldn't appreciate the good things.
The things she already had.
Right. Her relationship with her brother Joe, the simple pleasures of her life, those were the things she took for granted.
It's like she needed to lose it all to really see what she had. That's powerful, but kind of sad, too.
It is, but the book ultimately offers hope. It suggests that happiness isn't a destination.
What do you mean?
It's a way of seeing the world, experiencing it.
So it's more about changing your mindset than your circumstances.
Exactly. Nora learns that happiness is about embracing the present moment, making choices that reflect her values.
Living authentically.
And she comes back to her life with this new sense of purpose, a deeper understanding of herself.
The ending really leaves you with this feeling of possibility, like we all have the power to change our lives, not by running from our past,
but by changing how we see it.
Right. And the Midnight Library poses this big question to us. What if we already have the potential for all those lives within us?
How can we tap into that potential?
And make the most of the life we're living now?
Without being consumed by regret.
It's a challenge, but also inspiring.
It's an invitation to live more intentionally, to embrace the beauty and complexity of our own lives.
If you're intrigued by these ideas, I highly recommend picking up a copy of The Midnight Library.
You can find a link in our show notes.
And don't forget to subscribe to Mindful Moments for more deep dives like this one.
Nourishing your mind on the go. Thanks for listening.